Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Suboptimal podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pekovic. It's been a while since I've done any podcasts it's been a few weeks at least since I've done a podcast. And the reason behind it is because I've come across a task where I have invited some guests on, and doing the guests thing requires a couple of people to participate. And with that, there's a lot of editing. As somebody who's never really done this before, I found that there's a lot of editing to do and making sure it sounds nice and smooth, and the audio tracks and stuff like that. It's something I'm a little bit kind of picky about. But the thing is that there was a few technical glitches with the audio, and I'm using this like Bluetooth mic, and I'm using a DJI camera as well. And it kept dropping out like throughout. So I've had to kind of start 2 or 3 times, and it lost traction in the conversation. So we kind of had to get back to where we were and pick up where we left off. And it was kind of a bit jarring for me. So it's the thing that I've realized is that I'm procrastinating on these things. There's no other way to put it. But what I'd like to do with that to get over it is to record another one of these so I can get my head back in the game and realize it's okay to be unpolished and for there to be mistakes, because at the end of the day, I'm just a average guy trying to make a podcast like millions of other people out there. So the worst thing I could do is to do nothing. So that's why I'm getting back on board. It's been a few weeks now, so like almost 4 weeks since I've done anything at all. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of get back on and have a bit of a chat. So since I did my last podcast, I was talking about running a coffee shop opportunity, and we got the opportunity to do that. Me and my friend, it seemed like a really good idea. And what it ended up actually being was only 2 days. And the thing with that is that my friend and I are kind of reliant on the person offering up their space. And when we had our initial conversations, we thought it was going to be like an ongoing thing. That's how it felt. That's how we both thought it was going to play out. And then the day before, the conversation kind of changed. And it turned out to be this thing where it's only going to be 2 days. And that's fine. It's a really good lesson because it got me set up to run my business if I was going to do it as a more regular thing, how I can do it super lean and efficient, and know that every time I'm spending money, I'm not going way outside of my budget to be able to do things. I'm doing things that I can control quite simply. And some things I've got some things that I need to dial back, like how much milk I buy, how much coffee I make. But I have just been making more and buying more things just in case, because I don't know the variables of where I'm going to be. But now I've had a couple of goes, I know exactly what I'd do. I'd rather run out early and know that there's still a demand for it than have too much and kind of end up with milk that I've, sit in the fridge too long and go bad. But anyway, that was a good exercise, and more than anything, it taught me to get over my fears, kind of like what I'm doing today. I'm getting over my fears, and my fear is to publish something with a guest. And to get around that, I'm getting back on so I can feel a bit more comfortable about getting in front of a camera and talking again. It's good to just kind of, I guess, to do the thing that you don't want to do. I feel, like I can procrastinate when there's a lot going on, and there has been a lot going on outside of that as well. My wife and I have decided to go back to Australia at the end of the year, and there was just kind of a limit of things for both of us. My wife had been saying that she wanted to go back to Australia for a while, and after our last trip, it felt like the right kind of move for her. She was ready in her own skin to kind of branch away from being in Japan. And at the time, I didn't really want to leave Japan. I was kind of getting really, really set into the lifestyle and finding my feet and finding things that I could do. Up until a couple of months ago, there was just a few things I wanted to try as last kind of challenges to myself, in the hope that they would go really well. but then also that puts undue pressure on me and perhaps other people around me, that I'm expecting something to just blow up straight away. And I'm potentially also passing that energy on to somebody else to kind of make it happen for me. So that's kind of something that's been, sitting with me for a while. And I know that that's maybe not the right way to approach it. And so that tells me that I'm kind of glad that the coffee thing only went for a couple of days, and I've got a couple more pop-up things to do, because it's a nice way to wrap up the 4.5 years we've been here. And it's been kind of a successful move in the sense that I've gone and done something that I've always wanted to do, and I've tried it. So if we come back to Japan in the future, I've got a much better idea of where to get started. And I think we're going to be back in Japan at some point. It's just the way our life is set up. We're an international couple. My wife's family is here. I've got lots of friends here. And if I can establish myself in any number of ways, I like to try lots of different things. And I've got a couple of other projects that have just started recently with some new contacts, which I'm really excited about. That might bear fruit and allow us to travel more freely between Japan and Australia. But outside of that, I've also been applying for company jobs as well, because I realize that I like the security, and I'm just kind of looking for something that's a little bit more regular at the moment, because I've had so many variable things and things that have started and stopped and changed so much, is that where I'm at now in terms of my age and just my general headspace is that I want to have a regular job that I can go to Monday to Friday, and I can start to plan out what my week looks like. I can budget for things. I can think about what our next trip to Japan might look like, because we've got a regular kind of idea of when things are coming in and how we can budget for them and stuff. So that's another big thing that's happened. But there's been a lot of good things that have happened. And I think my whole time in Japan is like, you could kind of see these things as like they haven't worked out and this and that, and you've tried a bunch of different things, but I don't see it like that at all. I just see that I've tried all of the things that I've really wanted to do, and I've explored them, and I haven't gone past the point where I'm kind of losing out or trying to prop something up that's not working. And the reason why I called it a day for Japan is that I hit my threshold in terms of what I'm prepared to do. I guess feasibility has reached its point of being feasible, and it's time to stop. And so with that, the budget that my family and I have allocated for the time we've been here is kind of at the limit. And I've got a house back in Australia. We've kind of got these two lives going on. And for quality of life, we'd rather live in a house. We live in a really pokey apartment at the moment. And without me bringing in that regular income like I could do back in Australia, it's hard to move forward in that sense. So this isn't really kind of a complaining about living in Japan thing, because I love living here. There's no complaints. It's just, I guess what I'm prepared to do is at the limit. So now it's time to go home. I wanted my son to go to school in Australia anyway, so does my wife. And my wife wants to pursue her career as a dental hygienist. And from what I understand about both countries and industries, even if it's just very surface level, is that there's much more opportunity for my wife to go to Australia and pursue her goals, and maybe even go one step forward and become a dentist, or get into that management space, training, leadership, whatever she wants to do. There's more of that on offer for her in Australia, which makes her excited about her career than staying in that same role, doing the exact same thing for the rest of her life in Japan. And while she loves working here as a dental hygienist, she's hit the ceiling. She's the most experienced person in her clinic. She leads and guides people anyway, but she doesn't get any more pay for it. So she's kind of just running on the hamster wheel there. So I think it's going to be an exciting new chapter. And I just don't think that Japan is ever going to be closed for me. It hasn't been that way for the last 27 years. So I don't think that this is going to really put a stop to me finishing in Japan or it being a kind of closed book, because it just hasn't ever been that way. I had a 10-year gap between 2007 and 8 years, 2015. And as soon as I came back, I fell back in love with the place. So I'm never going to not love being in Japan or doing something in Japan. I think I'm just going to be better equipped, and also before coming to live here, I'd probably spent about a good 6 or 7 years traveling here, and there's always a different mindset when you're traveling through Japan as opposed to living. And now I know the things that are changing and the things that are coming up. So my wife and I can just plan better for that in the future. So yeah, it's been such a good lesson. And from a personal perspective, I just think I've grown so much. I am far more of a calm person, and I can accept things for how they've played out. Even if I might initially react to it poorly, I can process that information and kind of move past it quickly. So that whereas before I wouldn't have been able to do that. I've got this fiery Serbian temper in me that used to just boil over. And now I don't find myself doing that as much. Sure, I get frustrated. Who doesn't? But I think it's just about challenging that energy into something else. And so that's where these new projects have kind of come about. And they're aligned to things that I'm really kind of interested in as well from my studies in positive psychology. So it's heading in the right direction of where I kind of see myself eventually. And I really do want to have an active voice in that workplace wellbeing space and helping people have more of a voice and ability to influence what their work looks like on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, that's interesting. And yeah, I can't say that I've really had a bad experience in Japan at all. I've approached it really well. I've had some frustrating times, but who doesn't have frustrating times when you're trying to figure out something new? It's all kind of a learning experience. I've learned to tackle most things that I need to do by myself. So I don't ask my wife to do anything anymore because I feel like I've got enough confidence that I can do it myself, that's been a success in my view. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of just a bit of an update of what's going on. But yeah, as I said, I wanted to do this video today so I can get over myself and then upload the one with the two guests. I had a really good conversation, so I want to still focus on getting people through and making my videos more regularly. But I think the thing that I've learned with that is as well is to not just run at it and make 4 or 5 videos a week. It's more about coming up with something that I feel like if I've actually got something to talk about, then I can make something that is more relevant, and I've got a little bit more kind of confidence behind what I'm going to talk about. And the same goes with the guests. I want it to be a conversation, but I also want to be able to kind of challenge my guests in a respectful and friendly way and kind of learn about how they think. So yeah, that's it for today. And I hope you like this video. If you're interested in more, please give it a subscribe and share with your friends and do all of that stuff. And I'll see you in the next episode, which will hopefully be in a week or 2 weeks without putting too much pressure on myself. Have a good day. Cheers.